Good evening.
Yeah, I saw this invitation on, I think, my Nigerian student forum in UK here. So I picked interest because I have kids, and I would really like to know, since I'm just moving into a new country like this. I've had several cases whereby children have been taken away from their parents and all that. So I felt, let me just have a first-hand information of what this place is really about. That's why I decided, okay, let me opt for this meeting. So that's basically why I joined. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. God bless you. God bless you. I hope you have all had a wonderful week. Well, Pastor, so I will say that this is the day the Lord has made. We'll rejoice in it and we'll be glad as well. So I welcome you to today information evening on our parenting course. In the first place, I want to say thank you so very much, Brother Ola. You've been an amazing community leader, advocate, standing for families. You deserve so much award, not one, not two, many of them. And also every team member and directors of Save the Woman. I bring greetings from Family Mediation Center. But today, I don't have my team members here today because it's just information day. But during the men training, I have other facilitators and other team members that will be here. So in the first place, I want to say that United Kingdom is a land that flows with milk and honey. We must not forget that. We'll hear a lot of stories, things are happening, and but there are a lot of people that are having good experiences as well. A lot of people are having good experiences. And our prayer for you is that you will be one of those that will have positive story about being in the UK, that you will not be among those.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so that is my prayer as I do this. That is what gave me the passion. My passion is to ensure families that God, I believe everybody that comes here is God that transitioned you. You may have planned to come here for one reason or the other, but I believe, for me, I see myself as a missionary, and I don't think I came here just by myself. I believe God sent me here. That's why the first warning I will give is that most of us come here, we forget why we are here. We are here to get, to bring back this nation to Jesus. Most of us come here, we say, where's the pound? And that's where we miss it. A lot of parents who chase pounds, they lose sight of their children. They don't really pay so much attention. And before you know it, there will be intervention in their homes. But I pray that that shall not be your own case. So this is customized parental classes for African Caribbean families. Though we have Caucasian families, English families, Asian families that have taken part in this training. Maybe some of them were in court, their children were taken away, and maybe the court wanted to have a proof that they had learned something. So they joined us. And good thing, most of them after this training, they usually get back their children. But we don't want you to get to a point where your children are even taken away, because it's a stressful situation. It's a nightmare and you don't want to be there. So for the government, what is the spirit behind child protection and safeguarding? The spirit behind it is safeguarding is about prevention. It's about prevention, to prevent any hurt to the children, to prevent any child being a victim. That is the main purpose of safeguarding in the eyes of the government. Because in this country, the best interest of children is paramount. They don't care about you as an adult because you can care for yourself. You can do things for yourself. You can defend yourself. But children are defenseless. They cannot defend themselves. They may not be able to provide for themselves, so they are responsibilities of the parents. So now governments have seen a lot of things have gone wrong. There have been children who have been killed by their own parents. There have been children who have been killed by their step parents. There have been children who have been neglected, and so they got hurt. So that's why this law came into place, to help children, to protect them. There are children who come to school, they are going through a lot in their families, in their home, and nobody knows, and they don't know what to do. So when some of them make disclosures in school, the government decided that they want to protect children. The intention of this law, which is embedded in Children's Act 1989, is not to punish parents at all. The government of the UK believe that they are co-parents with biological parents or carers. So children, every child in every local authority in this UK actually belongs to the local authority, even more than the parents. That's why if a child is British, or particularly if a child is British and the parents are having problem with accommodation, the government will offer them a place to stay. They'll make sure that anything about that child is taken care of. So that is the spirit of safeguarding. It was not actually intended to take away children or to punish parents. It is meant to protect the children. It's to prevent them from having suffering any harm or any danger, abuse or neglect or whatever it is. That is the purpose. But before I continue, I have to introduce myself. Actually, I am Chika Amadi. My first name is Maria Chika Amadi, and yeah, I'm a legal advisor. I'm a trained legal advisor, but I practice only in immigration. But while in the process of doing that, from 2014 to 2018, I was elected as a local authority councillor. So I was a councillor, and but before then I have supported parents. I happen to be a pastor's wife and a pastor again. Glory be to God. So in the process of being a pastor, that's where it started. So a lot of families that came into the knowledge of local authorities, so I supported them. And I discovered every time I stepped in, either they stopped taking the children away, or children taken away will be brought back. So my passion continued to grow because I saw parents crying, I saw parents, families torn apart. And I saw institutional racism. I saw stereotype. I saw a lot of things going wrong in some local authorities. So that actually made me step out. In the local authority where I started, it's called Harrow, London Borough of Harrow in London. I noticed a lot of our Black people were facing a lot of inequality, health inequality. A lot of our people were having mental health problems and they were not being understood. A lot of our people, our Black people, end up in the prison more than any other tribe. A lot of things. There were problems with school places. You discover that the family would be in a place where all their network, all their family, church members are, and maybe they have a housing problem, and they go to the council. The council will always try to throw them away, take them just out of their normal or their usual place. And these things, I didn't find them funny. So that's why I went into politics. So I tell people that my religion is who I am, but my politics is what I do for my community. So this continued to grow. Then also when we have like young people, when I say young people, I'm talking of any child from 14 to 21. When they have problems, maybe the local authority, maybe the child is unaccompanied adult, young adult, or the child is no longer with the parents and that child needs representation. Maybe at the police station or something. So I acted as their responsible adult because they will not interview a minor without an adult there. So I did that. So from there, that's how this developed. And somehow God brought us in contact with Save the Woman, Brother Ola. And I discovered that he had his own passion was even much more than mine. His own passion in where he lives in Middlesbrough. I discovered that there is institutional racism that is very strong. Because the difference is, those of us inside London, we began to talk to the local authority. We went into politics. We became empowered. So when we go there, we kind of stand our ground, fight for our people. Then for me, I really fought for families. I thank God I have legal background. So I have had issues as well representing people. So we got to a point where we get the local authorities to. The law actually says when families come in touch. Sorry, my dog is here and he's he's snoring. I can hear him. Yeah. So when they get into issues with the local authority, the law actually says that when a family comes into the knowledge of the local authority, the duty of the local authority, that is the social services, is to help those parents wherever they are failing, whatever they are doing that is not right. They make sure that they are together. So before, local authorities inside London City, we are taking away children like that. And they saw a lot of things happening. Those children, when they become teenagers, some of them became criminals, some of them came into violent crimes, drug, and all that. So they began to listen to us that is not the way. You need to understand our culture. You need to understand where we are coming from. And also you need to support parents instead of taking away the children. And also we encouraged our people that when you come to the UK, I know at times it's not easy. You start with cleaning, you start with care work. But when you finish, don't forget the degree you had before you came or the one you have here. Try and get back to something professional. The more people we have in those areas, in the local authorities, in the parliament, the more you discover that our people don't suffer that, because let me give you an example. Recently, I have a family from Sodok Council, and their social worker is actually an Igbo lady. Though she was born here, British, but she's so Igbo. She's just so Nigerian woman. And the court offered the family to do parental class. And what they are offering them there is like trying to make a Black person to become English. Train your children like as if you're an English person. They were not understanding the cultural implication. So I don't know how I can't remember. Okay, no, the family got in touch with me. And so we did the training, and when she learned what we did, she went to her local authority and said, look, this is the right package for our people. So after that family, their case was closed. Glory be to God. So, so having said that, why are we doing this? I said, we need to empower our people. We discovered that we are representing them. There are some local authorities outside London. They don't have, they don't have idea. I don't blame them in a way of how our cultures work, because most of them have not been with our people. They don't understand. So unconsciously, they feel terrible that these people have come to take our job. These people have come to take our land. So, which is normal. In Nigeria, I remember at the time, Nigerians just away Ghanaians. Different people do things differently. South Africans fighting Nigerians. So I'm not surprised when they feel that people are coming from everywhere suddenly, and they're getting the best jobs, they're buying the best houses. So unconsciously, some of them are racists, and they bring it into their workplace. And when it is unchecked, things go wrong. And this is where the problem is. Cases that are supposed to be very simple and easy, the local authority, social workers support parents and move on. Some of them just come in, the next thing they do is just take the children away, and before you bring them back, it becomes a big issue. So that's why we now came to the point that while we are we are supporting and advocating for these families, the best thing we do is to teach our people how to guard our family so that we don't come into the knowledge and intervention of the local authority. And every parent here, I want to celebrate you. It's not that you are not a good parent. It's not that there's something you are doing wrong. It is just a clash of culture. Some of us, we have a history where we are coming from. We've seen our parents back home. You discover that when you are very strict, you are the best parent, everybody is hailing you. Then when you come here, you are actually seen as an extremist parent, and that can bring problems. So that's why we decided that we need to teach our people, because there are so many things our people were also doing wrong that brought them to the knowledge of the local authority. So then, under that child protection is the spirit behind child protection, as I talked about safeguarding, is government intervening to offer support where there is crisis. Now, safeguarding is what happens. Those of you that work in the medical field, in social care, that is care work, you will know about safeguarding for adults, especially. So in schools, there is safeguarding in place as well for children. So most of the local authorities now, or most of the schools now have either psychologists or a social worker that work in that school. So they watch all the children. Once you take your children to school, they look at them, they look at their presentation, they look at their physical being, they look at everything about them. So throughout the time they're in school, everything your child is doing, they are monitoring them. And children being children, they will always be children. So at times, children make some disclosures. They say things that happen in their family. My daddy did that, my mommy did that. And those things may clash with the law. Those things are not legal. So when a mother wants to go and pick up the children, they will say, sorry, you can't take your child home. Last Monday, I had a family in Manchester that called me. Well-established parents, but they are British, but they are Black. The child just went to school. A woman has a birthday, and they plan that after school, we'll all go out to have dinner. Only for the child to go to school and begin to say, oh, my head, my head, my head. What happened to your head? My dad banged my head on a coffee table 3 times. And that was it. They arrested the man, and they took away the children. Not only that child, the other 2, so 3 of them. And the parents didn't know what to do. They never did. And the father said, they don't even have coffee table in their house. So you see, things can happen. Unfortunately, when it's usually outside M25, outside London, they don't do investigation first. They take away children. That's the problem. But in London, when something like that happens, the first thing they will do is they will ask you, do you have friends or your family members who can take care of these children while we do investigation? Then unfortunately, some of us, when we also come to this UK, we start feeling like Oyibo. I want to just live like white people. I want to live only where only white people. We are proud. We are bragging that I'm the only Black person in my area. It's not a good thing for you. You're in a place where you don't even know what they do. And they are monitoring you from their window. The pensioners, that's their job. That's what we call neighborhood watch. You think that you keep your children, do everything, you run to work. Somebody's looking from the window. God bless you that they should not report you. So it's good you have network of people that are like you. So that if anything happens, your family is not here, you can say that friend. Because that is the best. If they keep your children with your friend, somebody you know, then they take a child to a carer. Because at times they take your children to carer. The carer like your children are so well behaved. Now that carer, even when the local authority want to release your children, the carer will be interested and say, no, I want to keep the children. That becomes another battle. We have seen that. So please, your church is important. If you belong to a church, participate fully. Appreciate your pastors, appreciate members, because they may be the savior you need and your friends. So when we talk of safeguarding, we are talking of school. what happens from school. Everybody, every elected person, every civil servant have a duty. They are called corporate parents. They have a duty to look out for every child. If they find any child on the street all by themselves for no good reason, and that child is wandering, anybody can report that. The GP, your doctor, has a duty to report if he sees a mark that is not explained, to report you. The teachers have the duty. Every professional have a duty to do that. Then protection is where there's a problem at home. They feel this child needs to be protected. Something is going wrong. Where the child is experiencing conflict. Maybe there's domestic violence going on at home. So, and it's affecting that child or something. So when they take that child away, and that is called child protection. So two of them are different. Now, the law around this child protection and safeguarding is covered by Children's Act 1989. And the emphasis is on the best interest of the children, the best interest of any child. That is the welfare of a child is of paramount importance to the government. You are the parents, government acknowledges that. However, government can intervene in your home. This law gives the government the right to intervene in any family because children are vulnerable. They do not have the ability to defend themselves. So the government created that law where they can legally intervene in your home. So they can intervene under Section 47 of the Children's Act or Section 17. Section 47 is child protection, where there is a manifest danger, where a child is, they think that that child will suffer harm if they don't intervene. Section 17 is another aspect of government intervening in a family when a child is in need. Let's give an example. A family is about to suffer homelessness. And if the government does not intervene, that child will become homeless with the parents. So the local authority will support that family, not because of the parent, but because of the child. It could be, or the child has health issues and the parents are struggling. So the local authority can intervene to support them to walk through it. It could be finance. It could be immigration matter. That's why a lot of parents, if you have your child in this country, but you don't have any form of leave to remain, if that child lives here for 10 years, for 7 years, you are entitled to make application to the Home Office based on that child, because it is not reasonable to expect that child to leave the UK. So parents can benefit. That is a way of government intervening to support a child, because the family, if the parents do not have leave to remain, they may not be able to work to provide for the child, and they are not entitled to benefit. So, but if a child is born here, or brought from home, and that child lives here consistently for 10 years, continuously, without leaving the UK, at 10 years, that child is entitled to be registered as British. A lot of people have missed that. And the children now grow, become 18 and 19, and they don't have leave to remain when they were entitled when they were 10. That's by the way. So I'm only saying that government can intervene in two ways in a family. One is either there is a problem, they are worried that a child may suffer harm or danger or neglect, whatever. Or if a child is in need, they will put in place program, but they will work with your family. They will work with such a family. And so take note, I said that Children's Act 1989, the emphasis is on best interest, children's welfare. It is of paramount importance, and it is at the heart of child protection and safeguarding. So your child now, if your child is government's priority, my brothers, my sisters, Your child should be your priority, not the money. I know you're owing people before you came here. Your child should be your priority. Because a lot of us come here, all we are chasing is pound. We make terrible mistakes, leave our children in the night. He said, no. Why? Now let's look at some reasons why a local authority can intervene in a family. Number one, where there is a fear that a child is at risk of harm, or there is a manifest risk of emotional harm affecting a child's self-esteem, or if that child continues to witness violence. So when a child is at risk of harm, we back home, I remember I went back to our church in Nigeria and I was preaching, and I didn't even know that was a few years ago. And I told them, I said, that you shouldn't be smacking your children. Don't smack your child, don't hit your child. And everybody was screaming, oh, you have become too British. You have become too British. I said, no. Even myself, I was not beaten when I grew up in the village of in Igbo land. I was not beaten by my mother. And my children, by God's grace, wonderful 4 children, I never for once raised my hand on them, and I never screamed at them. And they've come out excellent. So it's important when a child continues to be beaten or smacked or all that. So they will feel that child is in danger, that if that child is not taken away, maybe one day the parents will hurt that child unconsciously. When there's a manifest risk as well of emotional harm, screaming every time, doing things that put fear in the heart of children. I'll give you an example. A man lived in this country for years, and the family, the wife and the children were back home in Africa. And the man, after, all the struggles and all that, he got his leave to remain. He went to bring his family and the kids. So when they go here, every time they go to church, and the children, no matter what they give to the children, back home we believe in sharing. That's our community spirit. It's a good spirit, and I love it. But they don't have that so much of that good spirit here, that community spirit. But we are changing the narrative here. We are bringing our own culture, mingling with them, and we are changing it. They have to accept it. There's nothing they can do about it. So these children, when they get to church, no matter what you give them, when they see another child eating something, they will go up to that child and say, oh, can you give me a little? And the parents were not, the father was, having lived here, that this child is, why are these children like that? So he started having problem with the wife, blaming the wife of not training the children. But that is what is happening, or what happens where she's coming from. The mother didn't do anything wrong. Back home, we share food, but here. So this man got frustrated one day that, the way we threaten our children back home. And they called the children, sat them down and said, look, any day I catch you again, asking for biscuit or whatever, or crisps or something, I'm going to kill you. And he used knife. This was just threats. He didn't mean it. And the children said, yeah, I'm so sorry, Daddy, we won't do it again, we won't do it. So unfortunately, when they went to school, the first one, the bigger one, I think that child maybe about 5 or 6, when it was time to go, that child said, I don't want to go home, I'm scared of my dad. And they were worried. So what was the problem? Why are you scared of your dad? Why don't you want to go home? He said, oh, my dad is going to kill me. He has a knife. And they said, really? They called the second one in another room and interviewed that one. That one corroborated the story. I said, yes, our dad used knife and threatened us. So that was how it became a criminal matter as well. The man was in prison because he used knife to threaten the children. The children were taken away because the mother could not defend the children. That means if we leave you with the children, you can't even protect the children. You didn't report. And the man, after a long time, the children were given out to carers, and the man was deported. So, so these are all issues we are talking about here. So when they see that there is a danger, they will intervene in a family. Secondly, where there is excessive physical chastisement, excessive. I'm not going to go deep. Today is just an information I'm giving you because we are going to cover all this when we go into the class. We'll tell you what to do to prevent these things happening. So where there is excessive physical chastisement. So if you are a parent and you are used to every little thing, when you're angry, you smack, you do this, please from today, keep your hand to your hand. Keep your hand to yourself, I mean. Don't do it again. Because in Northern Ireland, in Scotland, they have been banned. If you smack, no matter how small, you are committing an offense. And if your child makes a disclosure, police will knock on your door. You must learn different ways of disciplining your children. So, physical chastisement. In England, remember, UK is made up of different nations. It's not just England. We have England, we have Scotland, we have Wales. So in England, smacking is not yet outlawed, but if you smack your child and there is mark, maybe you slapped and there's swelling, there's scratches, you pull the ear, there's redness or something, it is reported. If you are going to court, if you are charged to court, you have a leeway. You have only one defense to show that it was reasonable chastisement. But for you to prove that this is reasonable is what I don't know how you're going to do that. So the best advice is, please, if you have been doing it before, call your children and apologize to them. Apologize to them that you are sorry is how it's done back home and you are not going to do it again. And make up your mind. If you can pray that you keep your hand to your hand. Don't keep stick in your house. Because even if the child makes mistakes, says it, when they come to your house and see the stick, there's nothing you are going to help there. You can't bring yourself out of it. Then we look at another one is the local authority, social services can intervene in a family where a child suffers or is suffering or likely going to suffer sexual harm. When a child is likely going to suffer sexual harm, there are families where maybe parents, maybe the kids or do something and they don't explain to the children that it's just for them parents. And if they begin to do that, and they say it, or they notice that the child, somebody is going to abuse the child sexually, the local authority through the social services can intervene and take away such child. So you have to watch out for your children. Neglect, another reason is neglect. What we call neglect in this country, to be honest, is not neglect back home. What you think is not neglect in this country is neglect. So we are going to explain this when we come to the real training. Then another reason is domestic abuse. Where there is domestic abuse. I know that a lot of us here, you are all wonderful, but please can I encourage you. We are going to go into abuse, domestic violence in full details when we are doing this course. Please try and work together. Even if you have argument, don't let the children hear you because it causes them emotional trauma. You may not know. When they hear, when a father is raising his voice, it traumatizes a child. When a father is talking down on the mother, or the mother, because here in this country, at times it's the other way around, because maybe the woman is the one that has the visa or is British and bring the man here. So the turn is the other way around. The woman will be oppressing the man and the child is watching. That can impact on the child. So these are some of the reasons why the local authority, through the social worker, can intervene in a family. So can I ask you, I know you have listened for a long time, I have spoken for a long time. And I want us to be interactive right now. So who agrees with me after you have had this, what I have said, that it is important to improve your emotional connection with your children? Because that is another problem, emotional connectivity. A lot of us, the way we grew up, we are not connected to our children emotionally. Let me give you an example. Back home, some people can buy clothes, buy chocolate, buy whatever, but they are not present in the lives of their children because they have meds. So the children are closer to the meds. The children can confide in the med. The med can know when a child is sick or angry more than the parent because the parents are at work. But they are looking after the children. They're giving them everything. But that child, they cannot look at their child and know that my child is suffering silently. Maybe somebody can abuse the child and tell the child, don't say anything. Because you are not present in the life of that child, you cannot detect it by looking at them. So that will be missing, emotional connectivity. And this is where the children are detached from their parents, that they, even at times is the way the parent, when a child wants to communicate something, the mother or the father says, oh, leave me alone. So that child end up not having confidence and trust to speak to their parents. So that child will look for somebody else to confide in. And it may be the teacher. It may be somebody in the school. It may be their classmates. And they just say it. And that can open the floodgate, can open the door for the local authority to come in. So we will teach you, walk you through how to establish emotional connectivity with your children. So let me ask you now, how many of you know that it is very important? And I want you to share with me who can tell me that how connected you are emotionally with your children. Give me an example that shows you or that gives you that confidence to say, I'm emotionally connected with my child. Please, don't be shy. We are not in an exam hall. We are just interacting. Yeah, Mariam, please go ahead. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. I usually try to be involved in everything they do as much as possible, like going to their schools, doing, always present, I always encourage them to open up and tell me whatever, if anything is wrong, if they have anything, if anything bothering you, talk to me. And I always assure them that, okay, don't worry, I won't be angry. Just tell me what's happening. And, and it's been working, though it's not easy, but it's been working. So.
Okay, that's really good one. That's a good one. Yeah, okay, that's a very good one. Is there another person? Thank you, Mariam. Is there any other person that has another example of what assures you that you are actually emotionally connected with your child or children? Okay. Anybody? Yes, Chukube. Yeah, Chukube. You raised your hand. Go on. Yeah, are you? Please go on.
Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, Chukube, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, very well.
Sorry, I'm at work, so it's quite early. For my daughter, we've developed a lot of songs that we sing together.
Yeah.
So sometimes she comes to drag me to come and sing with her and all that. I believe that's part of the way we connect to our children.
Okay, fantastic. That's very good. It's a starting point. Well done. Thank you, Chukube. Ogochukwu, please take it on.
Well, I feel like I'm emotionally connected to my kids in that they can correct me if they think.
Yeah, that's good.
They're free. They can actually say how they feel in the house. If I'm down and I say, "Oh, I'm okay," they say, "No, you don't look okay. What's wrong with you?" And when I ask them the same questions, they just tell me the same way, like, oh, this is how I'm feeling. Well, I don't like the way you said what you said earlier. But I say, but you know what you did was wrong. Yes, but then we talk about it. Well, that's where I think, well, that we can express ourselves and we make it easy to express ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you, Ogochukwu. You're on the right path right there. That's fine. Thank you. I'm proud of what you're doing. Solomon, please, let's hear from you. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, from our end, like we try to be very present, both physically and emotionally for them, so that they can confide in us and really trust us. So like we wake up in the morning with big hugs, we're always present, we get them from school and we're really chatty. So like we talk about anything, everything, allow them to really express themselves. And so that way they can, like maintain the flow and just really stay connected to us.
Fantastic. That's a good job right there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rebecca, the last one on this.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for this information. For me, I think in a way I'm connected to my kids. I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. And because they have different personalities, so I have to look out for them individually. So I know what they like to eat. I know what they don't like to eat. And then most times, like, you hear my daughter say, Mommy, why are you listening to me? Like, maybe she brings up a suggestion and then I do what she says. Mommy, why are you listening? I said, because what she said is right. So anytime you say something that is right, we do. We say, oh, thank you, and all that. So, and then we pray together. When we are bathing, we pray. I tell them about Jesus. I tell them how to love themselves. Like when both of them are fighting, I say, you know what to do?
Apologize, hug yourselves, and all that. So I think I'm doing my best.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Great job. Great job. Now, how many of you find it hard to get one of your children or your child or to do what you ask them to do willingly? Maybe you have a son or a daughter or 2 or 3 of them. Do you find it hard to get them do what you want them to do? Yeah, Mariam, I can see your hand again. Go ahead.
Yes, I have 2 kids, 2 boys, 5 and 3 years old. For the 3 years old, it's quite hard. Most times when I say do this, he doesn't want to do it. Maybe when he feels like he does it, he's quite a stubborn one. But over time, I try to like bribe him, like, oh, okay, you don't want to answer me, don't worry, I won't buy this for you. And then, I don't know if that's a good thing, but in a way, it works.
Okay.
So that's it.
Oh, that's good. We're going to explore that when we go into food training. Thank you for sharing, please. Janike, take it up.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to mute. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks. So I have 2 children. One is 7 and one is 3. Well, both of them, they're quite different. The first one, the 7-year-old one, is so difficult because anything you tell her to do, she would keep questioning. Even if you explain, you end up having to talk over it over and over again. And you're just like, okay, so for how long do we need to keep talking? When are we going to get things done? And it just seems like, even if you explain, she will still come back with a bot. And you keep going on and on. For the 3-year-old one, I think the difficulty in that one is he hasn't started talking, so he has a speech delay. And because of that, it's so difficult to pass the message across to him. He throws tantrums. Even if you're trying to get him to do something, the next thing is throwing things all over the place. And so, yeah, so I'm having that difficulty with both of them. And yeah, just trying to keep cool, really.
Okay, that's good. Please keep cool. Before I call Chukwube again, in this country, you notice that they are very inquisitive. Because right from the beginning, when you have the child, I know at times you're in the kitchen, you put them in front of the TV, and they are learning so quickly. So one of the things they learn, and also in school, is they allow them to express themselves. They want to know why they are doing something. They don't want to be like, you're pushing me to do it. So I think you need to change the way you are giving your instruction. Maybe you just say, oh, you have to go and fetch me water. And the child will be like, but you're sitting there. You can do it yourself. So these are things that you need to get into, you need to engage them to understand why certain things are done. But we are going to look at that in the rounds when we do the training. Thank you for sharing. Chukube, the last one, and yeah, we'll go into one last thing and we close. Chukube, do you still have something to say, or is it the hand that was raised before?
Adenike raised hand before, if we can allow Adenike.
Ah, okay. I thought she had said something. Okay, where is, yeah, I can't see her hand. Adenike, please go ahead.
No, I have spoken. I'm the one that just spoke.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I don't think Chekube actually wants to say something. I think it's the hand that was raised before. Now, why then is it necessary for us to go through this parenting class? Why? The first one is that we don't want to be caught up in the local authorities' intervention. We don't want to be caught up. Secondly, many of us came to settle in the UK, bringing along with us our different cultures, our traditions. You know, like for example, in our culture, thank God things are changing. The man is the all and all. The man is the boss. Whatever I say, everybody must listen. So when you're coming back, everybody is trying to hide. Everybody is trying to do one thing or the other. So you instill fear in the heart of the children, even in the wife. Your wife does not have a voice. No, we have to change that. Those are cultures that actually standing on our way and at times endanger our families. So many of these cultures and traditions collide with the laws of this land where we have found ourselves. They need to be addressed. So to fully integrate into this nation, we need to acquit ourselves with the way of the living of the United Kingdom. As a parent, there's expectation from you, which may differ, because I have seen a lot of parents who you tell them to join this class, they'll say, oh, I'm the best parent, my children are this. I said, that is fantastic. Where you are coming from is different. They may take you as the best parent. And I'm so sorry that if we analyze your parenting, it may not stack up. So that's why this program has been created. Most parents that they intervene in their home, both those that have lived here for a long time, those who came newly, they were not actually bad parents. But there are things we have done over a long time that was not detected until one day it comes into the open. Again, many of us were erroneously made to believe that parenting has no manual. That is wrong. Well, to an extent, parenting actually has a manual. It is not written down. You know, I don't know how many of us know that the UK does not have a written constitution, yet we have a constitution. They are called convention. This is the way things are done. They look at precedents. How was this thing done a few years ago? And they follow it. The same thing in the law in this country, there is always precedence. So when a judge is looking at a case, what he will do is to look at when this thing has happened before, how was it handled by the other judge? So the same thing happens. Parenting in this country has an unwritten manual. So there's an expectation from us. So because of that, when we arrived here, we noticed that some of the families come into contact with the child protection and safeguarding issues because of very minor issues. Very minor. Some of them include neglect. Neglect. As I said before, some of the things that they term as neglect in this country, actually not neglect in other countries. Like in other countries, a 6-year-old can just go to, if the school is just there, that 6-year-old can go to school by himself. But here it's not done. Chastisement, as I said before, the method of our disciplining our children, that has been one of the biggest issues. Chastisement, very big issues. Domestic violence, the impact on the children. The impact on the children. Cruelty. And again, what we think is not cruel You know, back home, you can tell a child, because you didn't do this, you're going to miss your lunch, you're going to miss your breakfast. That's cruel. Because that child needs food to be sustained. You as an adult, you can miss your food and it's nothing. But when a child is denied food, it can impact on that child's development. So cruelty, that is just an example. Lack of understanding of mental health issues. Who can tell us who can be impacted or affected by mental health challenge? Who can share with us? In your opinion, maybe you're even a doctor, you're from a medical background, or you are not. Who can be affected by mental health issues, in your opinion, or in your experience as well? You're almost knocking off, but please, Ogochukwu, go ahead.
I think everybody can be affected by mental health issues.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I've taken note of that. Solomon, please.
Yeah, so anybody can actually be affected by mental health. And mental health is one of those things that is really complicated because like there are genetic factors and then there are, environmental things that can cause it. So like talking about domestic violence, talking about childhood experiences and like things that happen can actually impact on someone's mental health over time.
Thank you. Thank you. Both of you are quite correct. Anybody can be impacted by mental health. Now, who will tell us the difference between mental health challenge and psychiatric problem? Okay, so these are things we are going to explore. There's a difference between mental health challenges and problem and psychiatric problem. We are going to look at that. So a child can be impacted by mental health problem. Another child may be impacted by psychiatric problem. Some of our parents were not aware that children, young people can be impacted by mental health issues, and we are saying that those children are stubborn. Oh, that child is so rebellious, that child is so destructive. We may not know their mental state. We are going to be looking at that. We also look at cultural issues and beliefs, such as circumcision, female genital mutilation. There's a law around it. Let me give you an example. A woman had a baby, and the health worker came, and they started. The health worker was just chatting with them and asked them, "Oh, are you going to? You know that in this country it's a criminal offense to circumcise your girl child." So they were chatting, and the social worker was just talking about it. So, have you circumcised this child? And the woman said no. And the man, the father of the house, just went into discussion. Where I'm coming from is a big issue. You must do it. And this lady, the health worker was writing everything down. So the next 2 weeks, they called them for a conference. That because of what the man said, so the likelihood that that child is going to be circumcised secretly is there. And when they attended that meeting, they took the child, and not only that child, 2 other children. It took about 2 years for them to come back home. Just a discussion, not that they were going to do it. So this is another area we are going to look at that. Lack of understanding of emotional connection. And also we are going to be looking at teaching our children to understand our family values. So usually we deliver this program over 4 sessions. Over 4 sessions. So we'll help you to discover the keys to help your relationships blossom, whether with your spouse or with your children. So then we'll leave you with this. You must raise yourself before you raise your children. we want to help you to actually raise yourself. Can somebody explain that to me? When we say raise yourself before you raise your children, we are going to conclude with that. Brother, all I know have overshot the time is because we started late. That's why. Can somebody just give us or say something about what I said? Raise yourself. I'm challenging you. Yes, Solomon again. Raise yourself before you raise your children. Please go ahead.
So I believe that parenting is one very crucial thing that before you even decide to become a parent, it's like you're a grown-up adult and everything, you decide to, and like you said rightly, there's actually a manual. So like it takes lots of training. It takes, especially with us that come from a different culture, you've seen like things that aren't, necessarily right. You've read books or you've heard teachings like this, and you've seen things that you could do better. Like for me, I take it as a constant growing thing. I'm always learning from them. I'm always improving. I won't say I'm the best parent, but I try every day to be better. Even though I've made a mistake yesterday, I try to, do better today. So it's like raising myself and improving. And I find out that I've actually really developed since becoming a mother. I've developed things like patience. I've learned a whole lot about myself and about becoming a better person, really. So that's for me what it means raising myself.
Fantastic. I'm going to call Ifeoluwadu. Go ahead, Ifeoluwa. Tell us.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, please.
I think raising yourself means you should be a good model first before you can raise the child. Because the child copies the parents most of the time. So you have to model your life the way you want your children to be. That's the way you two should. You should make sure you behave rightly.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
You are not far at all, but there are other components also we are going to share with you during the training. So some of the main areas we are going to be covering, the topics are mental health and the family. We are going to unpack this area. We are going to unpack it. We look at the symptoms, things you will look out for in your child to understand whether they have mental health or they're affected by mental health. We are going to look at triggers, the factors that contribute to mental health. We look at intervention and the support that can be given. We also look at when to refer to professionals and how to promote good mental health generally to everybody in the family. Because mental health issues, one area where not only Black people that is developing. So we will look at that. Then we will also look at, just give me a minute. We look at my family and I. My family and I, and under this context, we're looking at understanding family values. Understanding family values. We are going to help you to hone your family values and communicate it. How to hone your family values. Like, one thing when we were growing up, one thing I noticed in our culture is when a father will assume or a mother assume that my child understands. Let's give an example. You in your head, in your mind, you think your child should, by 7:30, my child, no matter where my child, let's say a teenage child, by 7:30, this child should be at home. For in your head, that's in your head, but you have never communicated it. Now that child is unaware. Maybe one day the child goes out and comes back by 9:30, and you are so angry, you start smacking the child or you chase the child away or say something. So you are assuming that the child knows the family value. So we want to teach you how to hone it, how to communicate it, the expectation, because one of the problem parents have with their children is not communicating expectation. Then the child goes out, does something innocently. We are so angry with them and we want to punish them. No. So we're going to look at that, how you can articulate it, how you can communicate it, setting the right boundaries, how to enforce your family values. Then we will look at chastisement, as we said before, the applications. Then the signs that they will look at for if you're accused of chastising your child, in a harsh way. Then we will also look at, what's the next topic we'll look at? We'll show you different ways to discipline your children. We don't punish our children. We correct them, we discipline them. We'll give you options that will help you where you're struggling. Then we look at creating a conducive atmosphere or environment for your children. And we are not by any means saying that you're not doing your best, but we just want to help you to hone it, to how to create conducive atmosphere, balancing your work ethics and that. Then finally, we look at, for those who have teenagers and those whose children are pushing into teenage years, we look at navigating through the teenage stuff. That will be the last bit. So that's what we invite you to learn. Please do not play with this. A lot of parents have suffered and are still suffering. It's not a good place to be when your children are taken away, or when the social services are at your back. They will visit your house unannounced. Maybe you are just about to drive out and they say, oh, sorry, we're coming to see your house now. You don't want to be like, your privacy is invaded. So you don't want all that. You don't want the meetings up and down and all that. So I will beg you, please sign up. It's for your good. My children are, at least my last child is 18 now. So at least they can no longer come to my home. So I have all the necessary knowledge, both academic, experiential, and a lived experience to pass on to you, so that you are not going to be a victim. I will hate to be called by anybody on this place one day and say, oh, please, can you help us, social services? No, we want to arm you. Then when we do finish, if for any reason you get social services intervene, you will be able to deal with it and handle it in a very good way. And also we can also support you. More importantly, we'll give you your certificate. And if most of the parents, the law, maybe you're already going through child protection matters, they want to know what you have done to learn from your mistake. So they want us to write a report, which the court will accept. When the court looks at what you have done, and yeah, that may be the end of the case and the children will be returned back or the case will be quashed. So I pray that this has helped you. Thank you very much, Brother Ola. I know I have overshot my time. I was looking at when we started, actually. Thank you so very much, everyone, and look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We all learned so much today. Pastor Shika, God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the encouragement.
Praise God.
The Lord will continue to strengthen you.
Amen.
The Lord will continue to build your home, and the Lord will continue to increase you in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because it's not an easy battle, because sometimes it's spiritual attack, because you will start wondering when you start getting involved with these people, are they human, the way they are treating you, or what they are taking out of issues. In fact, they took some children out of likely harms or future harm, but where they took them to is a den of evil, and you can even see for yourself that after maximum 3-4 days, once a child stays outside of your shadow of the Lord, it turns to different things. We've seen family, you might say your faith does not accept a particular way of life. That is where they are taking your children to. So we don't pray for such. They have done that so many families. So please, prevention is better than cure. It's better to be harmed. And
as Brother Ola said, actually, when I do the course for local authorities, because at times local authorities send people to me and my team and myself, we charge them so much because of my time. As a legal advisor, my consultation for 30 minutes is £100 as a legal advisor. But because we are not doing this on a profit-making level, we are doing it just as a support. So that's why we decided that we're not going to charge as much. So we want to do it, we prefer to do it as a group. So as a group, we just expect you to just contribute 150. to offset our administrative fees, and also because time may come, it may be in how many years' time, we pray that it doesn't happen to you. Should you need our support with the certificate with the report, we will factor this in that you paid for the training. But if you as a family, you want to do it, just as a family, maybe you're already going through child protection or safeguarding matter, or to prevent tomorrow, we will charge you more than that. So we are giving you this option of, as a group as we are now, just 150. But when you come to us individually, because it's over 4 sessions, we are going to charge you minimum of 250, and it can change tomorrow. Yeah, Brother Ola, I think, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank
My
you very
pleasure.
much, man. So please email us, or we will send an email across with bank details. So if you, as soon as we receive your payment, we will arrange a date for you for this full course of 101. And if you want to do 201, we have that one separately. And we also have course for men, African men and Caribbean men. We have course for you separately. That will start in November, because the way we do things, the way we become bosses back home, we might need to adjust here in a way. And there are things we also need to do, like she has mentioned, domestic violence, domestic abuse. It impacts on children so much. If you even going through divorce, there are way of doing it, and you prioritize your children, you can divorce and still keep that relationship with the children intact without affecting them. Adenike, your hand is up.
Yes, sorry. Please, I want you to just be clear about the information. Is the 150 per person for the 4 sessions or just for one?
For the 4 sessions, course 101, 150 per person.
Oh, 101 is 4 sessions.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
201 is 6 sessions. That one is different. We will advertise that separately.
I think 201 is more of teenagers, yeah?
Yes.
Parents of teenagers.
Parenting teenagers.
Yeah.
Managing challenging behaviors. Yeah.
Yeah. So 201 looks at parents, helps or teaches the parents of teenagers. But 101 is parents generally, like, yeah. So it's over 4 sessions. So what we do is, though we may change it, previously what we were doing is Saturdays like this, 4 to 6, then Sunday the next day, 4 to 6, then next week, Saturday and Sunday, the same. But this time we may consider maybe weekday evening as well. So, but it depends on what you people want and our time as well.
For couples, there's a discount of £50 for couple. If you want to register as couple, there's a discount of £50. I've got one video here. I don't know whether I will be able to play that, about dads that doesn't know their kids. You know, it's so funny. But please also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've seen one person that just subscribed now. So if you are there, you are here to subscribe. That's one of the things you can use to support. Subscribe